All right, let's look at who are the key partners for the public sector's open data program. Here I have given a common category, but having said that, for each specific agency in a public sector, these key partners can be different. So they need to understand who their stakeholders are. I'm looking at it from a more generic perspective. Some of these are very targeted towards transport domain, but having said that, this is very generic. So the key partners, there are six key partners I've listed here. Uh, the first one being local business, you have open data enthusiast or citizen data scientist, and you have other public sector agencies or local councils or counties. You have app developer community and map providers and the startup ecosystem as a whole. These are the key partners for the government's public sector open data program. Before you go further, you need to map the value stream of the open data. When I say value stream, what who is deriving a lot of value from the open data you actually publish? So the government is the sole source for open data for releasing a lot of open data in the open data portal. So the government releases open data, and the citizens and developers and resources they consume all this data from the open data portal. So the way the citizens consume is if you're an open data enthusiast or a citizen data scientist, you pretty much download a copy of the data, you apply some statistical techniques and do some data analysis and then derive some insights, which you take it with you or share insights in a blog or share it with your among your network. So that's usually um, the value stream of open data enthusiast, and it doesn't reach all the citizens. It's only focused on a very specific group of citizens in the world. And then you have developers whereby they access your open data and then they actually embed them in their app, and the app gets consumed by the citizens. In this case, the reach is far more higher. And you have niche players like researchers where they actually download a lot of open data and then they do a lot of they use it for their own research and then they publish papers, which contributes to the economic outcome of the society. Having said that, if out of these three streams in the middle, citizens, developers, and researchers, the developer community is the one that has maximum reach. So let's focus on the developer community. So what does the developers do? So they build apps, and then they also do a lot of commercial solutions in the companies, and thereby they reach the citizens, which is the major portion of the citizens. So as far as your targeted approach goes, if you target the developer community and then inspire them to actually use your data in the apps they build and continuously add value to their activities, obviously you have more, the propensity of you reaching a lot of citizens is a lot more higher. Thereby, you have a targeted approach towards a key stakeholder. In this scenario, I'm just focused only on app developers in the value stream. Having said that, when I talk about companies, the big companies like Google, Microsoft, they're always in need for some open data. This could be a geospatial data where the government have a lot of insights about, and that can be shared with the companies, and whereby you can reach maximum number of citizens. So, having said that, let's also look at the local business as the first channel. So, when I say local businesses, um, you need to understand for your local area or your local state or a suburb, what are the prominent local businesses in my area? Is it restaurant, supermarket, computers, health or fitness? Then what kind of activities that each local business do in terms of the outcome that open data program wants to achieve in this way, or actually aligning with the right local businesses to maximize the outcome of the open data. Here I'm actually focusing on well-being. If you look at all this local business I listed above, they actually focused on well-being and economic activity. So in terms of action item for you, if you're trying to map out this or to undertake this activity, what is the key action item you have to do is take statistics on all the local businesses type. What kind of local businesses are there? How long they've been operating, and what are the prominent ones? Understand how they actually create value. These the main high level value creation. For example, if you look at the restaurants, the value they actually create is to um, give the people in terms of enjoying their food. So that's pretty much the value creation. They create food, they provide you with food, and then for which you pay. Understand the high level value creation process. This high level understanding will help you to engage with the stakeholder even in a more intuitive manner, and then consult what they need in terms of not in terms of the data, but more in terms of what they need from the public sector agencies for their value creation process or value capture process, or any kind of compliance activity they want to undertake. Consult with them quite often, and then you come to the drawing desk in within your agency, and you release those appropriate data sets that will try to solve the problem. Having said that, nobody's actually worked on the solutions yet. That's where your key partner the other key partners come into picture, but these are the key stakeholders where you can actually define the problem statement. You have the problem statement from the local business, and you take it to the developers and you release the data, whereby the app developers or the community will solve the problem for you. So in this picture, um, it actually is as a shift from as a public sector agency. I am the only solution provider where to a model where you democratize the problem statement, whereby you get a combined effect of the solutions from the community. I'll give you a case study. Let's say the local business you have in your suburb or in your state is a cafe. So what the cafes are actually interested in, they really want to increase the foot traffic. They really want to understand what are the patterns in which the foot traffic moves around the vicinity of their cafe. So the reason why they want to do that, because the value they actually create is to sell more coffees. So they want to give the people an enriched caffeine, so that people feel fulfilled, or they want to have a hot beverage and things like that. So how does the government can actually help is to increase the foot traffic. But having said that, this is like a government going and doing a marketing activity for a cafe, which a government shouldn't do because they can't promote a cafe. How can they bring the equality and equity into the picture? The way they do that is, how does what kind of services that the government actually provide, whereby a foot traffic or some kind of a people movement data can be shared with cafe in an anonymous way. Okay, the so for all the cafes, you can actually publish the public transport tap of data or the get of data from your public transport network. It could be buses, trains, trams, ferries, and things like that, just for the cafe, or the nearest bus location that's close to the cafe, whereby the cafe gets an estimate of, okay, this is the amount of people that each public transport is bringing to each bus stop. So if they really want to do some targeted marketing or offer some discount at the right time and things like that, they can do that. Having said that, they also can publish traffic alerts. If a tram or a bus or a train gets stuck in the traffic, and if the closing time for a cafe is 5 p.m., and if the cafe knows that there is a traffic getting unblocked, and they know that there's a lot of people who are coming at the bus stop, based on the previous baseline data, they know that there are a lot of people who are stuck in the traffic. They might think need something to drink, so they can actually extend the opening time span of 30 minutes or so. Look, it's really up to the discretion of the cafe owner, but again, you give them a chance or an opportunity to make the decisions for themselves. Having said that, these two types of data is what the government actually releases. The solution I was proposing is usually done by either a solution provider or an app developer, or it could be done somebody, a citizen data scientist at a hackathon, and it can be distributed to the cafes. So these are all the solution options. Having said that, as a government, let's focus on the problem statement first. Let's dwell down the problem, understand the key value proposition the open data program is bringing to this local business. So this is one case study I can share. The second case study is where, let's say, you have a lot of fitness centers or gyms. So their value creation is in terms of well-being. They really want to look after people's health and make sure they're fit. For them, they might be interested in terms of what's the population trends, and what are the nearby parks, and what's the air quality around each suburb and things. The reason why they want to do that is because these three data points are the business drivers for them. If the population is increasing, which means for a particular age group, which means they can definitely know that a lot of people want to be fit. And if you have parks nearby, obviously a lot of people go to exercise, which means it's a conscious society, health or fitness conscious society. And if the air quality is good, a lot of people will come out. Okay, so there's definitely a lot of value add to gym in terms of understanding the business drivers. So this is something a public sector agencies can release as a data. And the third category is, if you I want to cover, is in terms of government agencies. Understand what is the need for other government agencies if they want to do some data sharing. If each agency is sharing some data that is uh, used to produce a publicly available report in a PDF or Excel, why can't just release it in the open data and ask the other public sector agencies to use the open data APIs to pull the relevant timely data? In that way, the customer for the public sector open data program is another subset agency of the public sector itself. So, which means you are eating your own dog food, which is a good sign or for trust building. So which means whatever you're producing, you're actually consuming. Then the people will start believing in the open data program and start investing time and then looking at all the other data sets we have. So this whole piece is a big beast, and each government agencies needs to invest time in this. Of course. So let me stop here, and then we'll continue with the other stakeholders in the next video. Thank you.